Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Cold Case Christmas. In this episode, we're going to Victoria in Australia, where on this day, 43 years ago, the 6th of December 1980, the remains of 2 teenagers and 1 elderly woman were found in Tynong North, which is about 75 miles southeast of Melbourne. Over the next year, more bodies were found and linked to the Tynong North murders. The identity of the killer or killers remains a mystery to this day. This is the Tynong North and Frankston murders. Victoria Police have a website dedicated to the Tynong North murders, and there's a video here if you want to go and watch it. I'll link this in the description box. I'm going to go through in chronological order who the victims were and how they were discovered. So the first victim attributed to this serial killer or killers wasn't actually in Tynong North. It was in Frankston. Frankston is a small town south of Melbourne and about 55 miles to the southwest of Tynong North. Originally, the remains that were found in Frankston and those in Tynong North weren't linked. However, further investigation has revealed that they most probably are part of the same series, if you will, of killings that occurred between May 1980 and October 1981. It's a puzzle to me how a serial killer or killers could kill 6 females of very different ages and then just not kill again. Did the serial killer die? Imprisoned maybe for another crime in another part of Australia? Did they leave Australia and go somewhere else? Have they continued killing elsewhere? And these remains were left there and are still unsolved? All of those are questions I've got, and I don't know that anybody will ever have any answers for it. Anyway, the first victim was someone called Alison Rook. On the 30th of May 1980, 59-year-old Alison was last seen leaving her home in Hannah Street in Frankston North about 11 a.m. She was going to catch a bus to go to Frankston to go shopping. Sadly, she disappeared, and her body was discovered by a man walking his dogs. It's always the dog walkers that find people. In Scrubland near McClelland Drive in Frankston on the 5th of July 1980. So 59-year-old Alison. And then a month after Alison was found, on the 10th of August 1980, 73-year-old Bertha Miller was last seen leaving her home in Cardinia Road, Glen Iris, about 10 a.m, intending to catch a tram from Malvern Road and High Street to the Wesleyan Methodist Church in Prahran. She just disappeared. Then just 18 days after that, on the 28th of August 1980, 14-year-old Barrett girl Catherine Headland was last seen leaving her boyfriend's address in High Street about 11 a.m, intending to catch a bus from Manuka Road and High Street to the Fountain Gate Shopping Centre in Norrie Warren. So we've got a 59-year-old woman, a 73-year-old woman, and then a teenage girl. Very different victims. Then, a couple of months after that, 6th of October 1980, 18-year-old Anne-Marie Sargent was last seen leaving her mother's address in Cranbourne Drive, Cranbourne, about 9:30 a.m, intending to catch a bus to the employment office in Dandenong and then intending to go to the post office. So basically she was running errands. So far we've got 2 mature women and 2 teenagers. This brings us to the discovery of the Tynong North remains. About 2 p.m. on the 6th of December 1980, a group of men were dumping animal remains in scrub near a quarry off Brew Road in Tynong North, when one of them came across human remains and reported this to the cops. And this is where the bodies of Bertha, Catherine and Anne-Marie were subsequently located. So we've got 18-year-old Anne-Marie, we've got 14-year-old Catherine, 73-year-old Bertha. They were all found in Tynong North on the same day. But it doesn't stop there. On the 29th of November 1980, 34-year-old Naramal Stevenson was last seen outside a friend's house in the early hours of the morning in Park Street in Brunswick. So all of these are in the same area, but different towns. But it wasn't until the 3rd of February 1983 where a car that was pulled over on the Princess Freeway in Tynong North after getting a flat tyre noticed a bone sticking out of a bush, decided to turn that in to the cops, thinking that could be a human bone, and indeed it was a human bone. And so the cops went there and sadly located the remains of Naramal in that vicinity. Finally, the 9th of October 1981, 55-year-old Joy Carmel Summers was last seen at a bus stop at Chilly Street in Frankston about 1 p.m, intending to catch a bus to the Frankston shop. So another woman going shopping in Frankston. She disappeared, and then her body was subsequently found in Scrubland near Sky Road in Frankston on the 22nd of November, so about a month and a half after she went missing. All but one, so Naramal, was abducted, disappeared in the night outside of a friend's home, but the others were just going about their daily business in the middle of the day, going shopping or going running errands, going to catch a bus or a tram. So it seems like someone cruising around looking for unsuspecting women of any age, varying ethnic groups, who are just going about their daily lives. Each victim was on foot, yet that's all that really seems to link them. The bodies of all the victims were left in scrubland, and although there was an attempt to hide them in that scrubland, it wasn't like they were taken right out into the desert or the wilds, where they most likely would never have been found. There was an attempt by the killer or killers to conceal their identity in some way, but kind of lazy really, given how vast Australia is. I don't know. Very, very odd. Very odd. And in all cases, there was a lack of eyewitnesses. So even though 5 out of the 6 were abducted in the day, the abductor just kind of caught them on their own. Speculation from the police was that they knew their abductor. But again, these are in different towns, these are different ages, different ethnic groups. What linked them all? What abductor would know all of these women? Over the years, the cops have conducted over 2,000 interviews. Some cops over the years have believed that it wasn't one killer or a group of killers. These were separate incidents. It just happened that they were dumped in the same place. At least 4 of them were dumped in Tynong North, and then 2 a few miles towards the coast in Frankston. That would actually make more sense from a motivational standpoint. There has been a prime suspect, someone called Harold Janman, who often offered women lifts in Frankston. That might be relevant in 2 of the murders, women catching buses in Frankston, but not so the others. He died at the age of 88 in August 2020, and still no one has been charged. We don't know if the cops have suspects. We know this is still an investigation that the Victoria Police are interested in, but remains unsolved. In an attempt to encourage someone to come forward to give at least some information, in 2017, the police announced 6 separate $1 million rewards. That was up from the original $50,000 for any information that resulted in an arrest in any of the cases. $1 million reward. So, if you were in the Tynong North, the Frankston, or any of the surrounding towns, they're kind of south of Melbourne, in the 1980s, and you have information, it could make you very rich if you give that information to the cops and it leads to an arrest. You can do so anonymously via Crime Stoppers Victoria on 1-800-333-000. Or you can submit a confidential report via the Crime Stoppers Victoria website. I'll leave a link to the Victoria Police information on this case that has an active link to that contact form. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this bizarre murder mystery, and I will see you in the next episode of Cold Case Christmas.